1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move. Whatever click you choose, you better
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a pro violation. Yard down. Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Yeah, that's me gassing on that intro song. And if you want to purchase that on a 10-song EP by digital download link, hit me up on my email, 16tolifemusic@gmail.com, and I'm going to get it to you ASAP, man. So today, I'm reacting to a video by the big fella. That's right, man, Damian Porter. So let's hop into this video right now.
Welcome to another episode, everyone. There in High Desert State Prison, let's call him Lil Cuz from Compton, Crip. Really disrespected a Southsider in the worst way, leading to immense bloodshed and chaos. This situation nearly cost many people their lives. This is when I first began to be laced up on how these level 4 prisons really work in real time.
Now, just in case you're not familiar with the California prison system, they have level 1 being the lowest level of security, level 2, level 3, and level 4. And without a question, the higher you climb, the politics, the actions, the activities of the convicts on these yards get extremely serious. I would really say that it kind of starts on a level 3. I mean, you still have some individuals on level 2s who are structured, who know how to do time. And there is also level 2 violence periodically, but it really starts at a level 3, even though in comparison, most level 3s are still nothing like a level 4. And then when we talk about a level 4, 180 is really the worst of the worst, and essentially a shoe kickout yard. Well, a shoe kickout yard is basically when you go to the shoe and you get sentenced to a shoe, whether it's for assault on a whoever, another convict, assault on staff, you may happen to catch a unalive in prison, you may be caught with illegal paraphernalia, whatever it is that gets you that shoe. When you get finished with that shoe, you will then, if you have level 4 points, be sent to a 180. And then a lot of times also when you may come from the street with a lot of time, you'll be sent to a level 4 180. So it's essentially the worst of the worst.
I just hit the yard. And this situation transpired days, really, after I got to B yard there in High Desert State Prison. This is a level 4 270. Again, you have level 4 180s and you have a level 4 270. This was a 270 yard, but yet still extremely violent, and many incidents led to much bloodshed. Let's get into this. Lil Cuz hit the yard in High Desert State Prison just a few months before me. Nevertheless, he was still laced up with the rules because Lil Cuz had been to many other prisons before. Unlike myself, I've been to some other prisons, but never a level 4. Lil Cuz had. Lil Cuz was not necessarily a young individual either. He was about 33, 34 years old. And he had been.
Now you hear him say that he was laced up with the rules, right? And so while the rules may change a little bit from car to car in terms of the black politics, it's still pretty much essentially the same. First and foremost, have respect. Show respect. Don't disrespect anyone. Don't gamble. Don't get yourself into debts that you can't pay. Definitely no stealing and things of that nature. Of course, you can't be on the yard with bad paperwork. You can't do anything on the yard if you have good paperwork that still is considered telling police type activities or things of that nature. So, for the most part, it's pretty much the same wherever you go.
Been locked up for 7 to 8 years, so you would think that he understood and digested the politics rather well. There in the chow hall, people, what you would do is you go to chow, breakfast or dinner, what they refer to as chow, breakfast or dinner. Right there is a window before you get up there to grab your tray as you're coming through the line. And you knock on the window and call for your homeboy that works back there in the kitchen to put some more stuff on your tray. I used to go to my boy TC from Schoolyard. So the cell with the homie J-Lo from Schoolyard. And TC, he worked in the kitchen. He used to bring me back big old bags of ice and this and that. And I hit the window, hit the door when I'm coming through. Go get TC. Or he already be right there. Oh, got you. So then when you go to the window, hook up your tray, just pile it up. Lil Cuz is used to getting the same treatment because his big homie works there in the kitchen. So every day he gets laced up with a lot of stuff. Lil Cuz is a strong individual. He has a strong reputation. He's a stand-up individual from his faction. Again, he's been locked up. He's been putting in work. No smut on his name whatsoever.
Now, let me give you guys a quick breakdown of when you go to the chow hall on a level 270, a level 4 270. So you'll exit your building, you'll walk along the track, you'll come to another building that's used as the chow hall. So now when you come in the chow hall, it'll normally be, they'll have a guard standing there, you show them your ID, then you have walk down a straight path with a wall on the left side, and then you may have 3 or 4 feet up in there, and it's a railing, and the walk maybe is about 30-40 feet. Then when you get down there to the end, it turns to the right, and then there's another wall, like the wall possibly sitting behind Damian Porter. So when you're going to get your tray, at the end of this wall here, there's a little slot that they'll slide your food out of. Now, behind that wall, it's not like a cafeteria type setting where people can look and see who's actually in the line. They're actually behind a wall. And then behind that wall is like an assembly line of people working on, preparing the trays. So you may have one dude at the end putting the bread and, let's say, ice cream on the tray. Then the next dude in line is scooping the mashed potatoes and the string beans. Then the next dude at the end of the line puts the hot dog and the bun on the tray. Then he slides the tray out the window. So you cannot see who's on the other side of that wall.
So his homeboys naturally are looking out for him, and they embrace him and have love for him. On this occasion, his homeboy sees him there and said, I got you. When Lil Cuz gets up to the window to get the tray, a Southsider is there serving the tray. The individual that was before him, which was a black individual, had gotten the tray that Lil Cuz was supposed to get.
Now, how something like that can happen, like I failed to mention earlier, when you're walking down when you first enter the chow hall and you're walking down that long straight path, right when you get at the end, before you make the right, there is a door there for the convicts who are working in the kitchen. So sometimes they'll be hanging by that door looking to see who's coming. They know, okay, they're you may have a homie in building 5 that you're looking out for. They know, okay, here comes building 5. So then they look and they see, okay, my homie's here. But now when you bust that right, it still may be another 8, 9, 10 people ahead of you, right? So your homie has to try to count and see how many people is ahead of you. And so sometimes that's how mix-ups occur, because once again, once you get to that window, nobody can actually see who's grabbing the tray at the window.
This tray had all sorts of stuff on it. Grilled cheese and ham sandwiches. And Lil Cuz wanted this tray. And unbeknownst to him, the Southsider really gave the wrong individual the tray. Lil Cuz homeboy said when he get to the window, hook him, give him this. He telling the Southsider, because the Southsider is the one at the window on this occasion.
Now, some of you guys out there may be wondering, okay, well, if he got the wrong tray, why didn't they just give him another one? Well, those grilled cheese sandwiches, certain type of hamburgers, and other type of luxuries that dudes who work in the kitchen can make for themselves and their friends are not accessible to the general population. The foods you're getting in prison for the general population is not going to be cooked well, is not going to be great, right? And so by some of these individuals working in the kitchen having access to the grill back there, a lot of times the officer or the free staff who is in control of the kitchen doesn't mind if individuals prepare certain little things as long as everything in the kitchen runs smooth.
Looking out for his people and passing out the trays. So, they work together in the kitchen. They all look out for one another. So he tells the Southside, hey, when the homie get up there, give him this tray right here. Southside said, okay, cool. Southside gave it to the dude that was right before Lil Cuz. He gave it to the wrong individual. So Lil Cuz gets to the window. He like, what's this? Let me get my tray. Let me get my big tray. So I guess the Southside told him, oh, that was for you, my bad. I gave it to, someone else. He like, man, you gave it to somebody else. He like, okay, that's fine. Just give me some more then. You know what I mean? I'm not finna go get the tray from him. He already went up there sitting down, eating the tray, and just give me another tray. So I was like, no, it ain't no more like that. Like whatever I got left is for my people. That's it. So Lil Cuz like, man, call the homie, whoop-de-whoop. But Lil Cuz is holding up the child line. You have a bunch of killers in the line who are hungry and thirsty, and they want their tray. And Lil Cuz, they all lined up, waiting on Lil Cuz to grab his tray and go sit down, so we can all get up there and get our tray and go sit down. Lil Cuz has other ideas. He's upset about this cheese sandwich. To the point the police finally told Lil Cuz, hey, come on, man, you got to go. You owned up the line. So now the police, the Southsider, and you have a couple of people in the line that are mumbling now like, man, goddamn, Cuz, come on, Cuz, shit, all this. So Lil Cuz is catching hell from every corner. The police tripping, Southsider at the window tripping as far as he's concerned, and some brothers are behind him in the line. Now they're starting to trip. Lil Cuz gets frustrated, like, man, basically like, man, F all y'all, man. What? He throws the tray back in the window, right there where the Southsider is at. You can hear the tray hit the wall, then hit the ground. It just goes quiet in the chow hall. You can hear the tray just bouncing, like cracking up, bouncing off everything. Pow, 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 pow.
Now, some people may be wondering, okay, well, why didn't the dude just go back to his cell and eat? Everybody, unfortunately, doesn't have the luxury to have a lot of extra food in their cell or individuals looking out for them. Some of these jobs in prison might pay 8 cents an hour. Some of these jobs don't pay anything. So imagine working 8 cents per hour. You work the whole month and your check is like $6.55. And then on top of that, if you owe restitution, which is a state issued fine, they're taking 55% of your $6. I literally seen a dude, man, go crazy. His mother had sent him $10 to go to the store. Now, I'm not gonna lie. If you in a position where all you can send me is $10, you might as well keep that. But nevertheless, this was the situation. His mother sent him $10. Once he got the envelope with the stamp on it, and he looked and seen they had took restitution, and at this time restitution was only 22%. So from that $10, he still had $7.80 to spend at the store, and he went crazy. Hey man, what is this, man? Hold on, man. My mama sent me $10. Man, what? Hold on, CO, come back here, man. Come here, man. CO, why this thing say I got $7.80, CO? And the CO was trying to explain to him that it was restitution, but he did not want to hear that shit. He wanted his extra $2.80 or 20 cents or whatever it was, right? And so when you ain't got nothing to eat in that sale, the extra food comes in handy. Keep in mind, sometimes we eat in the morning at 7 o'clock. They give us a sack lunch. The sack lunch may consist of 2 extremely thin pieces of smelly, stinky meat. Sometimes you honestly cannot even make out what the meat is. An apple and a graham cracker. And that's your lunch. I have literally seen some of my cellies, after they eat breakfast, go right back and eat their lunch. And then if they go outside, work out, play some basketball, do whatever, by the time they feed us, which is at 5 o'clock, 5:30, come around 8:30, 9 o'clock, a grown man, 250 pounds, 195, all muscle or solid up in there, dudes be working out, they be hungry, man. So this is why some individuals go bonkers over that food.
Real good, like, cuz, after he threw the tray, Southsider standing right there in the window. He got hit with the tray or something. Everyone is thinking, I'm sure. Little cuz then goes and sits down without his tray. Y'all want me out of the line? I'm holding y'all up so much. Here, I'm done, man. Here, get this. I'm out of here. And he F this tray. I don't want nothing. He just gonna forget about breakfast. He's gonna forego breakfast and just go sit down without his tray. But now he done threw the tray. So when he goes and sits down, his big homie that works in the kitchen, and the Southsider comes out of the kitchen. Now, when I first got there, it was made explicitly clear to me that this is a weapons-only yard. I never heard of that. I said, what is that? What do you mean, a weapons-only yard? It means just what we said, bro. You get into it with someone, you must have a weapon and be ready to use the weapon at all times, because someone is going to use a weapon on you. This is a weapons-only yard. No one is going to fight you, bro. No one. They told me that as soon as I hit the yard. I'd never even heard of a weapons-only yard. I was 25 years old when I hit High Desert in 1999. It was still extremely violent and rough back then. So I got myself a weapon, and I was wearing it wrong. I had it tied up a certain way inside of my pants. So in case the police patted me down, they couldn't feel it. But I should have never had it tied. It takes too long to get it out. But I was new, and I was just trying to protect myself. So I certainly had armed myself. I'm sitting there in the kitchen, and when little cuz big homie comes out in the Southsider, I said, okay, it's up. It's about to go up. It's on. It's on. Southsider has a demonic look on his face. He wants blood. He's livid.
Now, one thing I definitely know about the Southsiders, right? They're respectful, and they do not take kindly to any form of disrespect being shown, especially by any other race, black, white, Asian, whatever. And especially in an extremely public forum like this chow hall, where everybody has witnessed this event, or at least a lot of people have witnessed this event. So you can definitely best believe this is a situation that has the potential to get extremely ugly. This man has threw the food back up in there and got food all over the Southsider, it seems like. even if he was trying to hit somebody else, you don't act like that in a public sitting, a situation where other people can be affected by your angry ignorance. So even though it was not intended, it still is disrespectful because now your actions have involved somebody else.
Lil Cuz big homie, he doesn't look much kinder. He's upset as well. Lil Cuz is a total violation. You done threw the tray back in there. As everyone is in there working in the kitchen. These dudes been hooking you up every day. As soon as you don't get your tray for whatever reason, you crash out. But you can't do this in prison. Not on a level 4 yard, not in high desert. You must respect everyone at every turn. And if you do not, there will be hell to pay. I don't care who you are. And when they came out, they got up on Lil Man. Lil Man, big homie told him, bro, what are you doing? What did you do? Lil Man like, cuz I was just saying, man, after Trey, told him I was holding up the line and this and that. And so they explained to him that they had gave a tray to the other dude. He's like, oh, I didn't know, whatever. But the Southsider and the rest of the Southsiders in the kitchen, because the Southsider said, man, you hit me with the tray. Look, and he got all kinds of, he hit it. His shirt has food on it. His pants wet up. He is livid. I'm thinking, here we go. This is a combustible situation, and this is about to explode right now. I put my hand in my pen, and I start trying to get this stupid old knife out because I didn't got it tied up the wrong way, and I'm having hell getting it out. But when I finally do loosen up the string, I start standing up some. My thought process was I'm going to hit the wall and put my back up against the wall. And let's go. So when I loosen up the string, and I start standing up, the big homie was like, bro, what are you doing? Man, sit down. What are you doing? I'm like, man, what you mean? It's about to go up. He's like, bro, sit down. It's not about to go up. Chill out. I'm like, all right, but I still have my hand on my pen. I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting right there. And because the Southsiders in the chow hall, they're looking tense.
Now, 100%, right? That situation definitely could have got ugly. One of the main reasons I believe is Damian Porter's big homie is telling him to sit down because when you have individuals standing up, it only intensifies a situation like that can potentially boil over, right? Even though the Crip unintentionally got food on the Southsider, it was still accidental disrespect. Now, in my opinion, there's only one thing that can keep this situation from cracking right then and there is whenever the Southsider comes up to the Crip and says whatever he says, it all depends on the Crip's response. Because even though you accidentally threw it, now if you are intentionally disrespectful and basically you have a cavalier attitude about what you've done, or you straight out say, I don't care, then that's further disrespect, right? So it's all up to how the Crip says what he says and how the Southsider interprets it. Because you can best believe if the Southsider feels verbally disrespected, it's going to get cracking right then and there. And that's what everybody, blacks and Southsiders, are looking to see how this is going to play out.
Looks to me like they're ready to jump up and go live. They're ready to get up and get it cracking. I've seen this movie before, and it didn't end well. I've seen these looks. And so I'm saying, no, man, this ain't no. What are you talking about? Just chill out. It's going to be taken care of, bro. You're in the big times now. There's certain protocols. No matter how upset the Southsider is, you're going to holler at Lil Cuz's people, shot caller, and either if they don't handle it, then it's going to be something. But they're going to give them the chance to handle it. And Lil Cuz, big homie, told the Southsider right there in front of everyone, we'll take care of it. right there in front of Lil Cuz. Said we'll take care of it. We already know what that means. Lil Cuz already know what that means. That he's cooked. And it's a weapons only yard. They're not about to fight this dude. He knows in that moment that he's about to be stabbed. He literally knows this already. But there's nothing that he can do. And the Compton Crips, they got on the yard. They went over this. They were conversing about this situation. And they let it be known rather quickly, rapidly, that this situation was going to be rectified that same day. Again, this is when I learned really that the hub and the dub car, the Compton Crips and the Watts Crips, really had a certain structure behind that wall as well. They're pretty strong and organized, and they take care of business.
Now, every prison that I've been to, the Compton and Watts car, also known as the hub and the dub, have been extremely deep because you have all the Crips on the yard from Compton, all the many different hoods, and all the Crips on the yard from Watts functioning as one collective. Now, to my understanding, the reason they go by the hub and the dub is because at one point in time, Compton was nicknamed the Hub City. So that's where you get the hub from. The dub is for Watts in W. So there makes up the hub and the dub. And like I said, I've been around a lot of those dudes, very serious individuals, always known to get cracking and handle their business. Always 25, 30 deep on the yard. You know, they're always deep.
I learned this head on, really watching this situation, having just hit this yard myself. I'm talking about days prior, basically. And the big homie is lacing me up with why this dude, Lil Cuz, is about to be attacked and why the blacks are about to do it. This is when I really started to learn the politics and the protocols there on the level 4 yard. So it was made explicitly clear to everyone that Lil Cuz was about to be attacked, really be made an example of, and that he was about to exit the yard in the most brutal of fashions. They held true to that. There was no hesitation. There was no contemplation. They let the Southsiders know we're about to brutalize this individual for what he did.
And the reason they let the Southsiders know, because it's prison protocol when something is about to be handled, and if it's a inter-car situation, you know, black on black, white on white, so on and so forth, you give the other individuals on the yard, the other races, the courtesy of letting them know, hey man, we're gonna be over here on the next yard disciplining our homie. That way, someone doesn't see some running or scuffling or fighting going on and think it's something other than what it is, runs over there and get involved. Now you got other people who was not involved in the situation involved, because when one person runs, his homie's gonna see him, then he's gonna go over there, and it turns into a big situation. So they let everybody on the yard know that this situation was gonna be handled. The only people they did not let know was the COs. And the cold part about that is the COs did not need to be notified. They knew it was gonna happen. The COs know the climate of prison. They knew the climate of that yard. You keep in mind that the administration, guards, correctional officers have been doing time pretty much as long as the prisoners have been doing time. So they know what's going on. They know what's about to happen. They know how things go, right? And so you had officers who saw that altercation in that prison, in that chow hall. So, of course, they came out. You know, you may have had an officer named Gonzalez. You may have had Johnson and Smith. So if Johnson and Gonzalez was in the building, the other dude, only when it comes to the yard, he says, hey, man, you know, we had a situation. Because a lot of times the guards will know the convicts by name. You know, they'll know their nicknames and everything, you know. So this dude may have been working with Little Cuz for the last 2-3 years or whatever, officer or whatever. So, hey, yeah, man, you know, Little Cuz got into it today in the chow hall, man. And so when we come out, I'm pretty sure they're going to rush him and get him. And so they just sit back and they watch. So this is the cold situation about prison. One of my first videos I did was talking about when you're going to get hit. A lot of times everybody knows it but you. In this situation, of course, little cuz knew it. But when stuff like this gets ready to take place, a lot of times the guards and the administration, they let it happen because they figure it's the lesser of two evils. You have to take care of one situation or you're going to have a bigger situation.
Little cuz, I don't know. He lost it. Yes, he should have known better because you say what you want, but this is, anyone does this, you're going to receive the same results. If it had been a black that he hit the tray with from another car, another group, another faction, it would have been the same result. They would have had to brutalize this dude and get him off the yard. Came out to the yard. Later on that evening, there they had night yard for a little while on the 4-yard. No, actually, they didn't have night yard. We would go in right before it got dark, like at 6 or whatever. The yard crew would be out there, but it was heading to get dark, and everyone already knows what's about to happen, including Little Cuz. He knows he messed up, but he's not rolling it up. He didn't try to roll it up enough. He was about to come out here and take his medicine. He knows these dudes are about to jump on him. There's no doubt. Only thing he can do is PC up or come out here and defend himself and keep his name. And that's what he did. He came out to the yard. He stayed down. He came out like, man, I know it's all bad. And when he came out, he was walking around the track by himself. He didn't have a friend in sight.
Cold situation, man. Like Damian Porter says, even Little Cuz know his time is up. He's walking around the yard like a man without a country. Ain't nobody trying to be around him like Pigpen on Charlie Brown. You know, when he's dancing and he's stinky and funky. And this is not a funny situation, but this is what it is, man. One day a dude is your friend. The next day a dude might not want to be 100 feet around you because it's getting ready to go down. And this is why I always stress conduct is so important in prison, right? A lot of situations that an individual will find himself in are self-induced. If you know how to conduct yourself, you have a high chance of going through prison without any flim-flam, out any skirmishes or whatever, right? So this dude's conduct got him in this situation, you know. And sometimes in prison, it's a sad thing, man, but you cannot afford to have a bad day. Who knows, man? Little Cuz may have got off the phone that day trying to call somebody and couldn't get through, and he was upset. He may have been called to trying to see if his wifey was coming up to visit the next day. She been telling him, yeah, I'm coming. Then the next day he calls on a Friday and she don't answer the phone. He didn't call 1,000 times. I've seen a lot of situations to drive people over the edge in prison because now you're frustrated. And so now you want to take your anger out on somebody else, or maybe if that situation that made you angry hadn't happened, you would have reacted to this situation in an entirely different fashion. So that's why in prison, unfortunately, you cannot afford to have a bad day. If you're mad as hell, stay in the cell.
He must have felt so lonely and isolated in that moment. He's walking around the track. And I see some dudes scurrying up to him, getting close. I said, these are the culprits. They're about to get this dude.
Once again, not funny, man, but Damian Porter sure has a way with words. He says, yeah, these are the culprits.
One dude from Compton that was walking up on him, this dude was bestial. He was big, muscular, and just looked menacing. I just thought this dude was about to, oh man, it's about to go bad for Little Cuz. And it did. They got up on him and started hitting him hard. I mean, the one dude who I thought was a menace from Compton pulled out a bazooka. A big old thing. I mean, you can, a big, nasty, rusty machete, and went right at little cuz. Bam, and hit him with it. I said, oh, wow, this is bad.
And keep in mind, right, that the dudes that are hitting little cuz are from the same collective that little cuz is from. So just before this incident happened, they was homies. The night before, they may have been out there on the yard playing pinochle, playing chess, talking about Big Booty Brenda from high school. Who knows? And then a situation jumps off, and now you got to throw a nutty and stab the hell out of your buddy. I mean, you know, prison is a dangerous, cold place.
It's about to go bad for this dude. Little cuz, he hit the ground and he felt it and hit the ground. And there was nothing he can do. It was the first hit was punishing. There was nothing he can do. Opened up a wound on him immediately. He was leaking out immediately from the first hit. And when he hit the ground and they didn't let up. They got on him. It was bad. It was extremely bad. It was bloody. Lil Cuz had no defense. He was down on the ground, cooked, immobile even. And they continued to hit him until finally they got down. When the police are you can see that the police are going to shoot at this point. If they don't stop right now, they're going to shoot. The police are telling them, last one, stop now. Because they wouldn't let up on him. I thought, man, they trying to kill this dude. Man, all he did was throw a tray. And he one of their guys. But again, that's when I learned no one is bigger than the program. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. It just doesn't. You mess up, regardless of who you are, who you think you are. You're not bigger than anyone else here. We'll show you that.
And so I'm going to stop this video here. This is Damian Porter, the inside story. And that's what it is, man. It gets ugly. The very first sticking I seen in prison, I was on a level 4 Salinas, was one dude stuck another dude. You know what I'm saying? And it was an ugly situation. And before the dude stuck the other dude, the dude was new to prison. The other dude that he ended up sticking had brought him out, you know, a lot of things to help him get acclimated to prison. Hair grease, you know, food, because we had just came there from a reception center, which is the first prison you go to when you leave the county jail. So, you know, he brought him out a lot of things, you know, tennis shoes and some food and, you know, toothbrush, things he didn't have, things tied him over until his property got there. And some people may be wondering if little cuz had to PC up, and ultimately that decision comes down to his car, right? My opinion, I would say no, and here's why. Because whenever he got to the next pen and went to wherever he was going, he's gonna tell them, hey man, listen, I got DP'd up there, this is what happened, or whatever, right? And so 9 times out of 10, they probably would leave that situation alone because he got his issue. The only thing, in my opinion, that would have had him deemed bad is if he had came out with a weapon and tried to defend himself. And here's why. Because it is still seen as a huge act of betrayal to pull a knife on your homies. Well, some people may be thinking, well, damn, they was trying to kill him. They pulled a knife on him. Yeah, but he violated the rules. He knew better. He understood what would happen to him if he crossed the line of disrespect. And so that's like an unwritten, you know, you already know you got that coming. So then to come outside, which I have seen and heard people doing, trying to defend yourself when your homies have deemed you worthy of a DP, definitely now makes you a target for the next yard that you go to, because your homies now are going to see you pretty much as a traitor, right? And so, yeah, this is an ugly situation, man. But once again, this is Damian Porter, the inside story. we are spelling that with a Damion. Damien at one time took umbrage with me for spelling his name with an E. So we got to get that name right, man. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.